It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball.
Your sweeping 0-3 SKOR North Twins Show. Full Twins Show here. Mackey, Judd, Dex. I did an extra innings episode yesterday to recap things with AJ. I was at Busch Stadium on Thursday for opening day. Little shameless self-plug and little tease. Weekend statements and questions on Minnesota sports with Mackey and Judd. I have some takes on Cardinals opening day.
Oh, wow.
That are... If I pissed off the Guardians fans with wind tunnel stuff, I might have another army coming at me potentially for what I witnessed at opening day in St. Louis.
I also have an opening weekend related take that's going to get maybe spicy for the same show. Statements on Mackey and Judd.
Little tease. Right. That's what we do here.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the state of the Twins. Every Monday, we're bringing this back from last season. We do vibe checks. We do our favorite thing, our least favorite thing. We kind of give an overview of the team. Plus, on Tuesdays, which will be tomorrow, Trevor Plouffe Tuesday. So plenty of content here on the SKOR North Twins Show. So hit that like button and subscribe button for Minnesota Twins content from us here. All right, so here is the state of the Twins. They are 0-3. They were swept. First time since 2016. The Twins have opened the season being swept by an opponent. I believe it's only the fourth time it has happened in franchise history. So with that, and small sample sizes, but regardless, here's your state of the Twins. They are tied for fifth place in the AL Central. They have scored 6 runs in 3 games, which is 27th in Major League Baseball. They've allowed 17 runs, which is tied for 23rd in Major League Baseball. According to Baseball Reference, they have a 32% chance to make the playoffs. Before the season started and going into Thursday's game, that was 42%. So that number has dropped by 10% after 3 games in the opening weekend. Let's just jump into a vibe check because this is very simple. The vibes are terrible. It was a terrible opening weekend for the Minnesota Twins. And when you factor in what they had to do last year when they also got off to a slow start, just 7 wins in their first, 20 games. And then you factor more in what happened towards the end of the last 6 weeks of the season last year, the off-season turmoil, and then you start the season by laying an absolute dud in St. Louis. This could not be, it's not a death sentence, all right, it's 3 games, but this could not have been a worse start for the 2025 Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump in, I guess. Twins vibes are blank. Twins vibes are crickets. Crickets in the win column. Crickets on StubHub right now. I just pulled up the home opener. Home opener, man, like a celebration of the franchise. It used to be a celebration of a brand new ballpark. And you can literally get, and I don't think it's a sellout. So I think you can, pretty sure you can go get your tickets, right? Twins.com/tickets. But you can get in the building for $12 right now on opening day. So it's just, they had a chance. Well, a couple things here. This does not mean really anything for the season projection. The Braves got beat in their first 4 games. So they're 0-4 to start the season. Do we think that the Braves, who have a really talented team up and down, are just cooked now? The Twins have talent. And the Twins have some pitching still. So do I think getting swept in the first weekend means they're absolutely cooked? No. I mean, they're only 2 games back of the Guardians. Not that we should be standings watching right now. But they had a chance to come out, get people excited, get themselves excited, get off to a hot start. Maybe start 9-5 or something and give people some belief going into May. And I think the fact that they now, after digging themselves in an 18-month franchise hole, going back to the last time we all felt great about this team was when they beat the Blue Jays' first playoff series win in 20 years. It was a systematic destruction of that goodwill over 18 months. But opening day is a chance to sort of, okay, it's a big inflection point. You can bring people back into the web here and back into the good graces. So to dig an 0-3 hole on top of the 18-month hole that you dug yourself as a franchise is just kind of a buzzkill. So grab a shovel, Twins. You got some digging to do.
Forget an oar. Grab a shovel.
Grab an oar.
Twins vibes are demoralizing. in every way, shape, and form, from the fan base to the players right now, clubhouse, the front office as well. Demoralizing. This team is now, since the August 18th game in Texas, they are now 12-30. 12-30. They are trying to sell tickets. They are trying to sell television packages. It has never been more important for them to create excitement. And this is, to start to even invoke the 59-win season of 2016 at any point in time right now is demoralizing. This is demoralizing. And if this continues in any way, keep in mind, Derek Falvey's in charge of everything now. He's in charge of the baseball team. He's in charge of the front office. He's in charge of everything. It's his job to, at least from the start, to somehow make this right. Because the one thing that I learned in 2016 is 3 consecutive losses, not a death knell. 4 consecutive losses, also. But 0-9. And then all of a sudden you're looking at just shoveling and shoveling and shoveling. And fans will peace out quickly because it's baseball. They're like, oh, okay, I'll come back in July to see. But this is a real problem, not so much based on the record, but based on the very name of this segment, which is the vibes. The vibes are incredibly important, never more important. And the vibes, they started off bad. And let's be honest too, the 3 losses, if you had lost 3 exciting games and you had hit well and it was just a real exciting, or let's say 2 of the 3, but you couldn't hit. And furthermore, if you watch those games, the Cardinals did everything that we want the Twins to do. Unbelievable on the bases, phenomenal defensively. Like the Cardinals, the Twins could have won at least opening day on Thursday, but Victor Cruz in center field, or I'm sorry, it's not, I think I just
Victor Scott.
Victor Scott. Victor
Cruz was the wide receiver from
the Giants,
right?
who we met. But Victor Scott makes that unbelievable play, backhands the ball in the gap. The Cardinals did everything the Twins should be doing. So I think if we were talking about like 2 really exciting games, it'd be like, okay, it was exciting though. They weren't. Couldn't hit.
There is a easy just choose your own adventure for least favorite thing here with the Twins after the opening weekend. I don't really feel like there's many wrong answers of which avenues you can go down. I'll go down the first one, which for me was pitching. So we were trying to figure out identity of this team going into last year. Plouffe brought this up. And I know we can definitely get into conversation of the hitting woes that took place in St. Louis. But for right now, let's start with pitching. Pitching was supposed to be pretty damn good for this team. Pablo Lopez, opening day, can't get anyone out with 2 strikes. I mean, the kill counts that Pablo talks about all the time, those are kill counts. 1-2, 0-2, typically, and historically, statistically backs it up. When a pitcher is ahead like that, he's going to get the guy out 90 to 95% of the time, right? Could not find a spot to get any of those guys out in the first 3 innings. Look at all the, outside of Joe Ryan, yes, on Saturday, who might be the only bright spot from the weekend, Griffin Jacks had a meltdown inning on the 8th inning that kind of put the game out of reach on opening day. Duran ran into trouble on Saturday. Jorge Alcala, who probably shouldn't have been in the dang game after getting hit by the pitch, he runs into trouble. And then Bailey Ober, if you start Bailey Ober against a team that's based in Missouri, they're going to just absolutely tattoo him. So the pitching, in my opinion, also is just as much to blame as the lack of offense, and it deserves a good chunk of blame too. But the pitching, I just named 4 of the most 5 important pitchers of the Twins' success in 2025, and 4 of them were awful in the first weekend series.
Okay, I got 2 questions, though, that I'd like to pin on Rocco and the boys. The first one, so Arenado on Saturday hits a comebacker that hits Alcala in the pitching arm. And, of course, they bolt out of the dugout, which they should in this case, to go check on him. He says some version of, oh, I'm fine, I'll pitch. It becomes instantaneously clear he lied. He's not fine at all. He can't find the strike zone, but yet he stays in there. Okay, I don't understand that. But let's move on. Tomorrow's going to be another day. So Bailey Ober is evidently getting IVs and puking up his guts on Friday, rests on Saturday, and tells Rocco, I think I can go. I can go. He clearly can't go. He's left out there. He gives up, 8 runs? I think I think the start a year ago in Kansas City on his first start was 9 hits and 8 runs. This time it was 8 hits and 8 runs. But anyway, post game, Ryan Jeffers says, "Oh yeah, he was not even close to full strength. What do you guys talk? Oh yeah, this is a problem." But yet he was allowed to start. Chris Paddock's going to start today. Last time I checked, nobody was on this. Like, we are just starting the season. What are we doing here? Why did Bailey Ober start that game? If you had any doubt, why would you start him? There are other options. I'm very confused. And then when you add the Alcala thing back in, this team races out to check on players who have hangnails, and they leave a guy in who just got hit in the arm, and he's clearly not right. What are we doing here?
Bailey Ober, just to kind of pile on this for a second, I get that he was sick, and I guess we'll never know. He was able enough to hold a baseball and go out there. His stuff was not what it needed to be, so we could debate, was he 75%, was he 50%? I don't know if we'll ever get the truth, but what we do know is he has an incredible run going here of 2 consecutive years giving up 8, like Judd threw out the numbers, 8 earned runs in his first start. So last year it was an inning and a third against the Royals in an 11-0 thrashing. He did make it 2 2/3 in this one here, but it took him. So he starts the season last year with a 54 ERA, and he was actually really good then. Basically from that point, he had a couple clunkers, but he was really good starting with his next start all the way through. But statistically, because of that first start, it took him until August 15th to shave the ERA back under 3.5. So August 1st, over under, will Bailey Ober get his ERA under 3.5 is my biggest question this year. It's an uncanny ability to get absolutely shelled in your first start of the season.
And so I went and did that too, and I just did the ERA under 4, so I probably even took a couple starts off from what you're looking at. So it took him 19 starts to get his ERA under 4, and during that 19 starts, he had only allowed 40 earned runs over that stretch, 113 innings. Opponents only hit 197 against him, was striking out everyone, not issuing walks. Like, during those 19 starts, he was probably one of the 15 to 20 best pitchers in baseball, and it took him all of that just to shave that ERA all the way down. So I think that's also very tough to I think Bailey's a very solid number 3 starting pitcher, but can he do that run again? 113 innings, opponents hitting 197, not walking anybody? I think that's almost impossible to rectify for a pitcher of Bailey Ober's caliber.
Yeah, I'll jump into my least favorite Twins thing is it's also pitching related. It's the fact that you could maybe say, well, there is some bad luck in there. It's whatever, small sample size, and it is a small sample size. But according to Statcast, the Cardinals have on the season so far the hardest average exit velocity on their at bats. They are averaging 93 miles per hour off the bat in 113 plate appearances. That's above the Yankees with their new, what are they calling those things? The turbo whatever bats. So, your pitching came in and gave up the hardest contact, the torpedo bat.
Torpedo bats, yep.
So that's without the Cardinals using the torpedo bat. Imagine if we replay that series and give the Cardinals the Yankees torpedo bats. They also have the 4th hardest hit percentage, a hard hit rate, meaning percentage of batted balls that came off the bat 95 miles an hour or higher. 50%
Whiplash
in that first series.
At bats.
Yeah.
Whoa, where'd that ball go?
So, every which direction, your team's biggest strength was its biggest weakness in the first 3 games of the season.
Yep. I thought the Saturday start by Ryan was pretty effective. Like, I thought that was a very solid first start since, August the 7th last year. I liked that one. Beyond that, yeah.
I think we should also add, I know we're like really pitching heavy here, but the fact that through the first 3 games, whatever.
I got this one.
Okay. I thought you already gave yours. Go ahead.
No. I didn't like the fact. Yeah, the fact that this guy's got an IV. He's basically going to be rushed to the hospital, and then we go get him. No. My least favorite thing is the top of the order.
Yeah.
Matt Wallner, Correa, and Buxton combined in 3 games. 2 for 34. A run driven in, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts. Buxton, 1 for 12, 5 Ks. Wallner, 1 for 11 with 4 Ks. And Correa, 0 for 11. First time, I believe, in his career, he has started off 0 for 11 with 1 walk and 1 strikeout. And I'm going to give you something on Correa that concerns me a little bit more until it starts to turn around, okay? So he is coming off foot problems. He cannot run now. Watch him run. He is Big Papi circa 2004. He cannot get down the line. And if you guys recall, one of the things that the Twins were charged with in spring training was getting guys playing time. We're going to play guys more, so when opening day comes, they're going to be set to go. Ergo, spring training becomes more important for the veterans to get ready. Carlos Correa in spring training was 6 for 44 with a double. He had no triples, not surprising, no home runs, no power. Carlos Correa, this has plenty of time to change, but given his problems, I don't think we should sleep on the fact that his lack of production thus far means that his timing is either way off, and or we just have to keep an eye on him. Like Byron Buxton, I think's fine, right? He's going to come around. He strikes out. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Wallner, he's got time. The Correa one intrigues me a little bit more, though, just because of what he's up against and what he's coming back from, just as far as something to watch.
So, I'll say this. The spring training stats aren't a problem for me at all. That does not concern me. I mean, obviously, when he had the second foot issue last year, I mean, he, up to that point, was having a prime Astros Carlos Correa season. Mm-hmm. And in fact, and I'm not going to go into the what my favorite thing is here, but if you look, and we just talked about average exit velocities, you look at some of those balls that Correa was hitting over the weekend. I mean, I'll be a Rocco defender here and a coach speaker, but he was hitting those balls hard, and they're hitting him. He's hitting them at people. He's hitting in bad luck spots more often than not. That average exit velocity and expected batting average, those are going to be hits for Correa. So for me, not a huge concern just yet. And on the torpedo bat thing, because he talked about this, because these bats have been around for a year, Correa claims that he doesn't want to try one of those bats until there's at least another year of information. He tinkered with one in spring training, swinging it a little bit, but refused to really buy in until there's more information on it. But to Judd's point about concerns with his offense, I'm not there yet. Now, in terms of his long-term health, yeah, we're going to have to kind of have kid gloves on him.
We're going to be in this weird state with him. He's 30 now. The two teams not that long ago, 3 years ago, decided, yeah, we're just not. Our medical staffs are not going to greenlight this.
Right.
And then maybe it hasn't been specific to the ankle that was in question, but the foot issues and it's all kind of in the same general region of lower leg. There's going to be questions until he gets hot and stays on the field for a stretch. So I think it's fair for Judd to question what we saw in spring. I generally don't believe spring training stats matter either, unless you're a pitcher walking everyone, in which case, come on, throw the ball over the plate. But until he gets hot and stays on the field, there's going to be questions.
The problem is his contract in no way, shape, or form allows for kid gloves. He's got to produce. I'm not going to cut him any slack. Dude, you are making way too much. And look, I know you've been hurt, but I feel like this, I got the right shoes now and stuff. I need to see production across the board. I don't care about your shoes.
New Balance, man. Making a brand comeback here.
Yeah. Just make sure that those shoes work. Get some hits.
Did I see a Cooper Flag New Balance too?
He certainly didn't shout well in this last game, so perhaps he might want to change those up to Nike.
I think he's doing okay.
His coach was MFing him on Saturday, I think it was.
Let's see here. Cooper Flag, New Balance. Just want to make sure. Shohei's a New Balance guy. Correa.
Kawhi.
Ooh, Nike and New Balance have Cooper Flag at a crossroads. Interesting.
The show took a sudden turn.
Favorite thing, if we can even talk about. I do have, I think, one type of favorite thing. I hinted at it a little bit, but before I do that, quick shout out to our friends at Underdog who are back here with us. Shout out to Underdog. Baseball is back on Underdog. You can go download the Underdog app on the App Store or Google Play Store. You can ride the higher or lowers on strikeouts, total bases, home runs, runs scored. Plenty of great options at Underdog. You can sign up with promo code SKOR, SKOR. You'll still get that deposit match. You'll get another little bonus piece as well. Go download the Underdog app. Send me those pick'ems that you're winning as well. I'd love to show those on the show. Go download the Underdog app. Promo code SKOR, SKOR, when you sign up.
Park Dental also hanging out with us here on the SKOR North Twins Show. So, I was without a dentist there for a minute, and Park Dental came to the rescue. They came and said, we'll clean your teeth, Phil. We'll clean your teeth with a smile and some good conversation. Over 50 years, Park Dental has been caring for and cleaning teeth in Minnesota and Western Wisconsin. They treat patients of all ages. They're a comprehensive family dentist. So if you're like me and you are in the market for a new dentist, you can check them out at parkdental.com. Convenient locations all throughout the Twin Cities in Western Wisconsin. There's a good chance that somewhere within a few miles of wherever you live or work, there is a Park Dental. And many of the practices open at 7 a.m. too, so you can get in there before going to work. Schedule your checkup at parkdental.com.
All right, so favorite thing, which again I understand might be a very little tough exercise after being
We're
swept.
digging.
We're gonna be really have to grab an oar here and go through the you know what. I touched on it briefly with Correa, but there were a ton of hard hit balls yesterday over the weekend from the Twins offense that are more times than not going to find spots. Yes, we want you want the Twins defensively to start playing a lot better and have some improvements there. Cardinals were also making absurd plays that more often than not are going to find spots. So some of those at bats, I actually did not hate. A lot, like the on opening day, for example. I mean, the Victor Scott grab was absurd. Again, if that ball lands, the Twins are leading that game going into the eighth inning. Ty France had a couple of those at bats in there. I mean, you look at some of these average exit velos from even Correa, who bounced into a couple double plays at 103. That's a 560 expected batting average. There were actually at bats there that I think more often than not they're going to find spots. I understand with baseball, you want to see that happen. If the Cardinals are doing it, why can't the Twins do it? Fair criticism. I'm not going to completely bend over backwards there for that. But I think more often than not, they continue to have these at-bats. Those balls are going to find spots, and they're going to score some more runs.
Yeah, they, some of this, it's frustrating because, like, you see an out created or whatever. But, yeah, batting average on balls in play, it does not match up with the Twins' exit velocity. It will even out at some point. Yeah, the Twins are 28th in baseball in batting average on balls in play, despite being middle of the pack in exit velocity and hard hit rate. So, yeah, they're certainly not swinging it like the Yankees by any means. But if they keep hitting the ball at the rate that they were, like they're going to score more runs. Does that make them a contending team? There's like a lot more to work on here than just some of the batted ball luck straightening out.
Right.
But Declan is right. That is a thing from the first.
And you need to make the plays that the Cardinals made. Like that's where you have to make up for the deficiencies.
Yeah, I mean the fact like the Twins infield, when you're dabbling with like Miranda at anywhere but third base
and the right side of the infield,
Castro and Ty France, and they're just not until you get a Brooks Lee back and Royce Lewis. He's not exactly Scott Rowland in his prime at third yet either, but he's still young enough and athletic enough to figure some stuff out. He can straighten out the throwing.
And I know when people are consuming this episode, Twins are probably underway with the White Sox here because they have an afternoon game on Monday afternoon, but we're going to move Willie Castro to left field. So Willie's in left field, no lefties in the order against a lefty and old friend, Martin Perez, on Monday. That's the first time they're playing a left-handed starter.
I don't know. I'd consider him a friend.
He had a great 2 months.
He did
an awesome little.
I believe he induced a triple play ball against the Yankees at Target Field.
Yeah. I'll give you my favorite Twins thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a real slim list.
Yeah.
They stole 2 bases over the weekend.
Yeah.
They stole 2 bases.
God, you're reaching, but you're not wrong.
Aggressive on the base paths. Like, wait a second. I'm wiping my eyes.
I know.
Stealing bases? No, this is great. So yeah, you may remember that last year they were in the Bomba Squad season 2 back in the day, they were like it was like 40 steals all year or something. They had 65 successful stolen bases all year last year. Well, 2 steals in 3 games puts you on a pace to get 108 stolen bases on the year, which would put them right below league average from last year. I know it's hard to pace things after the first 3 games, and they haven't had a ton of base runners to do things with. But if being more aggressive on the base paths is part of their ethos here this season, I am all for it. So, yeah, Deshaun Kiersey came in, stole a base, and then Trevor Larnach, Mr. Stolen Base himself.
That was a nice steal.
Snagged
I will
one.
say, if you were to ask me who is the least likely to steal a base, I would have had Larnach at the bottom 5. Without a doubt. Yeah, that guy does not have speed written in his game.
He's a plotter.
Even Christian Vazquez, like you actually watch him move a little bit. He's actually kind of like a savvy base runner. Again, I'm not sending Christian Vazquez on a stolen base attempt, but Larnach would have been near the bottom of my stolen base pecking order for opening weekend.
Larnach is a little bit of a bright spot. No one completely tore the cover up. I guess Willie Castro got into a few, and then Harrison Bader got
doubles,
the one.
A home run. Come on, yeah.
But Larnach, the way that he drives the ball to opposite field, and he's never going to be I don't think he's ever going to be a 30 home run guy, but he could be a big time batting average, move the chains, some extra base hits, hit the ball over the field.
It was probably due to the fact that they were down big, and at that point, worried about Chicago, but they actually elected for Wallner and Larnach to get run against lefties yesterday in the middle and late part of that game, which they really haven't done before. So that's also kind of like, oh, they tried. And now I will say the Larnach at bat was like, oh God, I can understand why.
Yeah, that was tough.
why this
but he's got to get him.
Thing. But he has to get the reps. Totally.
Absolutely. So I could say something smart ass and try and make some joke, but I'm not going to do that. My favorite Twins thing, without question, is this: I can now watch the team when and where I want. So I've got them on cable, but then if I want to go in a different room, guess what? Once the streaming problems got cleared up on Thursday, everything worked perfectly. I can now watch. But of course,
there were streaming problems on Thursday.
There were to start off with. And may I argue that I actually think the production in game is superior to FanDuel's. I thought the production better. I actually liked it more. I thought it was crisper. I love their score box. It's not obtrusive. Bottom right corner got all the information that you need, but they're not trying to do a bunch of cute stuff there. So my favorite thing is I don't have a problem trying to get the Twins. I also don't have to be concerned on May 1st if they're going to be yanked off my cable system because I know that deal is done.
But I think one of my gripes was you didn't know for sure that they were going to be available through your cable provider until the morning of. So they kind of and I get why they did it, but they spent the entire offseason telling you if you want to watch Twins games, you can pay $100 for twins.tv. You can stream them anywhere.
Right.
So I heard feedback from a lot of fans who paid the $100 and then found out on the morning of the first game that, oh, actually you already have this tier through Xfinity.
Yep.
And literally multiple people wait, did I have to pay the $100?
Well,
as a YouTube TV guy, yes, I have to pay it.
I was asked that question. Dawn said, so you're paying for something that we're getting on cable. I explained it to her. I said, honey.
It's kind of a bait and switch.
I said, honey, here's the deal. I can't stream it unless I pay it. And $100 for a full season of games, not a terrible amount. But I want to be, I am an old guy. And I stream, okay? So, if I go out to dinner or something with Dawn, hey, what's going on? Yeah, that's right. I can watch the game.
I would never do that.
I can watch the game. I usually put the phone down and watch games. But anyway.
You put it right up on the glass of water there, so.
Yeah. And guess what? It works terrific. But I just like the fact that I can now watch games without, a bunch of question marks. And I do think the production's cleaner. I like it more.
It was too bad that all right, so we've had 3 games. We've had 2 90-minute rain delays already. We almost have as many runs scored as rain delays, honestly.
You're right.
And they mentioned how they're going to show minor league affiliate games during the rain delays because they have that access now. And then, of course, both times the St. Paul Saints were not playing when the 2 rain delays happened this weekend.
But that channel with the quad box is fantastic.
It's Red Zone. Yeah, it's Red Zone of baseball.
It's Red Zone.
That's cool.
And so they showed that for the first part of the rain delay on Sunday, and then they switched to some This Week in Baseball new type of show, which just sucks. Just give me the quad box. I love the quad box.
It is kind of fun watching baseball just like 10 years later try to figure out, okay, this streaming world and what could we do? We could do a red zone thing. We could
with baseball.
We could highlight our minor league product too. This could be great.
But what about all those great stories coming up next? The Road to Cooperstown with Rod Carew. Rod Carew was a great Twin. Came up in 1967. Yeah, you're right. That part's painful.
On our Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd podcast today, we will get into, here's a tease for you, baseball felt bad about the streaming service crapping out on opening day, right? Here's our big launch. And like I had to refresh, you had to like re-download the app on your TV and stuff, these trial stuff. But they felt bad and they sent a special offer to fans that we can talk about on our other podcast.
Oh my gosh. Hey, be on the lookout for any extra innings episode. Hell, maybe if the first win happens on Monday afternoon, Dex Tweets will hop on here and we'll talk about it. Be on the lookout for extra innings episodes. So hit that like button, subscribe button. We got a Trevor Plouffe Tuesday. Coach Trev will join us to maybe talk us off the ledge or join us on the ledge on the SKOR North Twins Show. Hit that like button, subscribe button. Be talking at you guys soon.
Baseball.